This is going to be pretty short. I mean, not short, 30 minutes, but, yeah. Oh yeah, and we picked this guy as the one that, took the coin. The koban.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Yasenosa. What? How? How dare you? You monster? Monster? I stole that koban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival? Am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Aido. Aido is the mastermind behind all of this. How did I miss that screenshot? You push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little boy? If you, who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa? You... Wow! What is happening? Clippity cloppity clippity cloppity. Yeah! Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Ayase Nosa, preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. What? What just happened? Do any of you know of the extraordinarily low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remain in place. And I've heard it's hard for lower ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant? The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I'd go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork, even, which is worryingly believable. Look at that, chopping on a steak with... Whoa, it sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork either. Wow, fork or knife even, which is worryingly believable. Remember I just said the steak had teeth marks out of it? It wasn't like someone was cutting it? But I don't know. I figure one thing out and then the other thing confuses me right after. And your target that day was the old man and his koban? Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket and without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak. I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Bang. Yes, when the professor was shot, I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. Ido too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could on the double. I slipped it under the steak, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. No one's saying anything. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you would carry on with this absurd prating in your own time? Well, Miss Brett. Oh, of course. Dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be Excused, Your Excellency. Indeed. The thief of the koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it? Yeah. Oof. And for picking up the steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork? It's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. See? So it wasn't her food. What in the world is going on? Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you're free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day. Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming. Oh no, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. Yeah, the bite marks. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking, make your voice heard. Sorry, you can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett. What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time. There's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Objection!
What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are we talking about, Ryunosuke? Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Is this part. And it's picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. It's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Yes, I'm afraid what she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, counsel. If Miss Brett's word truly are contradictory, where is the evidence to prove it? I mean, anywhere you could see the bite marks, right? Yeah. You see them there. Oh, you can see it here. How would I do this? Can I just click it?
Take that!
The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed? Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it now, Miss Brett. Notice what exactly, counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman would even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Then take a good look at that steak. In particular, the edge where it's been eaten. Big bite marks. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
Objection!
But, what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenous. Well, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Ministry of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course. It'll all be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic? Of course. Dear lady, what's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realizing the catastrophic implications these teeth marks have in the stake having to do with her. Ryunosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes. Now at last, it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in the steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. It's a different plate. This isn't even her food, right? That's what I'm thinking. The reason why the bloodstains I know I saw somehow seemed to have disappeared. Or they were switched. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. Okay, I don't know that part. I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond a doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of this phrase, typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Has it been? What? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean the evidence does not exist. This is absurd. The trial has run several hours already, and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? It can't be. I don't believe you have it. I don't. But there is someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair? What? I don't know. He pointed at the lady, right? But why? Let's save. I didn't mean to say here. Let's save. So when we fail out, we could just load the game. It has to be her, right? Or him? Is he even up there? Who possessed the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair? YOLO.
Take that!
The music didn't stop. I'm disappointed. As it's likely your last chance, I would have expected you to take it more seriously. It can't be the guy though. It can't be him.
Take that!
But he picked up the evidence, right? So it'd be kind of weird if he didn't notice it was different stakes. But then again, yeah. I don't know. The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosanage. What? I haven't? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on the stake with the teeth marks. Yes? Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoyed chomping my way through a good steak, and as well as admitting to stealing Korakuta's-san's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watched it. You watched it, Cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak that you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Tin-shun. Tin-shun. I thought you were speaking Japanese. Tin-shun? Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier of the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign general lady if she'd mind me manhandling her meat to hide something in it. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meat, or his meal. But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table. Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor does she have an opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing could be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly, surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over? You did switch the plates. Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilians had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my steak and hid the coin under it. But then, when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, it'd be it. I'd be getting my marching papers. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table. You what? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what I had to be done. Unbelievable. However, fear not, Prosecutor-san. What now? I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform that is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
So, if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Osanage. Yes. Earlier in the trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both. That's correct. Then please present to the court now the plate that actually was the victim's table. It was actually the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot.
Shut up!
What? Can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat? It can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
No, you're not wiggling your way out this time, lady. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promised to prove such a problem to you, no? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see the plate was confirming something the defense didn't remember seeing. Thinks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splatter of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now, we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. Yes, sir. Sorry for keeping you. Here's the other steak and its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. The blood stain is clearly visible, look.
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment of the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for a naruhodo sound to have shot the victim. It can't be. In fact, there's only one person who possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you. Outdone by Japanese? Me? By Japanese schoolboy? No, no, no. Boss fight? What is happening? I'm trying to get a picture of the chickens. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior from an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life using Curair. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison will be found in his water, because Curain is unheard of here in Japan. Yes, of course. I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water and it would be all over. I could place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in the chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I conducted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of Curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? So I was right. There were 2 guns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Place where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I'd intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, that's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoined the kitchen and the locker inside. I locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around. Because of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Your Excellency? Yes? I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me. Naruhodo-san? What is happening? Is she not being arrested? Is done? What? It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement. This can't be. Tachisuchi Aochi does not lose. Not to the likes of this rookie student. You'd better start getting used to that tough opposition. Ryunosuke Naruhodo? What? Yes? This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgotten. You become conceited with age, counsel, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. 1,000 millennia may pass, and still, the Aochi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of the new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. I thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. The new future of law awaits. But what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asogi? Yes? After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of the to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can. Absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Never mind. As for you, ryunosuke naruhodo? Oh, yes? In you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that afterwards, or onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. And we're done? See, thank goodness I turned the game back on. I was like, let me just finish this case thing. So next time I play, I can start a new one. It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, ryunosuke naruhodo, not guilty. I think I've been playing for like 3 or 4 hours for this one case, and I'm pretty sure, I think there's like three cases. The court is now adjourned. Yeah, I think there's like 3 or 4 cases, and that one was like 3 hours. 3 or 4 hours, probably 5. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. Ha ha ha. No. It was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street, don't you? Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Congratulations to both of you for providing Naruhodo-san's innocent, or proving his innocence. Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know? Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much. If you hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Ah yes, of course. Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Sasumoto Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Speaking of Mikotoba, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you after all. Your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my dear friend. Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yuma University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson. Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? I never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asogi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world in science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what happens in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this. The spirit of the Asogi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. The Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. And cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me. What happened to the woman? If Giselle Brett, after all, she's guilty of murder. Ah, yes. Her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit, after all. She'll be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in front of court again in this country, I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hosanage. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must but what will happen? But what's all this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case, somewhere far away, where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now, but we've signed the friendship treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then, how long? Wait, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respectable government, they can't invoke a consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our government's making a secret agreement about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance. What? Comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They've obviously taken this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can't make it change. We can make it change. This is the time of great turmoil, this new era heralded by the state of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. But that woman. Yes, change is coming. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But Professor... Yeah, you're right. This is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might as well just La Carnival. As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with the ample food and drinks. You're a detective, Hosanage-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about details for now. To La Carnival, will you accompany us, Professor? Of course, La Carnival's food is second to none. I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh yes, thank you. So Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma. Yes, Ryunosuke? I just wanted to say thanks again, that's all. You really saved my skin today. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? The defense was all your own work. I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help. Okay, lawyer. Oh, I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial, but you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh no, not me. All the tense verbal combat. Never wanted to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the problem. Sorry? What do you mean? That's the point. Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No, the ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? The defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it? I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a good choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you will be ready to you will be really backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you choose to believe in, even then, well, that's not something that everyone can do. It's a special kind of person. Believe in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. Well, you face seemingly hopeless situations time and again, and you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. It sounds serious. What is... you're still here, aren't you? Oh, Inspector Hosanage. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory, and your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget. Oh yes, that's true. We are done the first trial. So the very first trial came to an end. Kazuma, Professor Mikotoba, Susato-san, who acted as my assistant. It was because of the help and support of all of these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. And now it's done. I was gonna say there's no way that was the whole game, but I don't know.